2 Samuel 5. And all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and spoke, saying, Look, we are your bone and your flesh. Formerly, when Shaul was sovereign over us, you were the one who led Israel out and brought them in. And Jehovah said to you, Shepherd my people, Israel, and be ruler over Israel. And all the elders of Israel came to the sovereign in Hebron, and sovereign David made a covenant with them at Hebron before Jehovah. And they anointed David sovereign over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron he reigned over Yehudah 7 years and 6 new moons, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Yehudah. And the sovereign and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land. And they spoke to David, saying, Except you take away the blind and the lame, you are not going to come in here, thinking, David is not going to come in here. But David captured the stronghold of Sion, the city of David. And David said on that day, Anyone who strikes the Jebusites, let him go by the water shaft and take the lame and the blind, who are hated by David's being. That is why they say, The blind and the lame do not come into the house. And David dwelt in the stronghold, and called it the city of David. And David built all around, from Millo and inward. And David went on and became great, and Jehovah Elohim of hosts was with him. Now Hiram, sovereign of Seir, sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters and masons, and they built a house for David. And David knew that Jehovah had established him as sovereign over Israel, and that he had exalted his reign because of his people Israel. And David took more concubines and wives from Jerusalem, after he had come from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were born to David. And these were the names of those born to him in Jerusalem: Shamuel, and Shobab, and Nathan, and Shelomoth, and Yebar, and Elishua, and Nepheg, and Yaphiah, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Eliphelet. And the Philistines heard that they had anointed David sovereign over Israel, and all the Philistines went up to search for David. But David heard and went down to the stronghold. And the Philistines came and spread themselves out in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of Jehovah, saying, Do I go up against the Philistines? Do you give them into my hand? And Jehovah said to David, Go up, for I shall certainly give the Philistines into your hand. And David came to Baal Perazim, and David struck them there. And he said, Jehovah has broken through my enemies before me, like a breakthrough of water. So he called the name of that place Baal Perazim, and they left their images there, and David and his men took them away. And the Philistines again came up and were spread out in the valley of Rephaim. And when David inquired of Jehovah, he said, Do not go up. Turn around behind them, and you shall come upon them in front of the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when you hear the sound of stepping in the tops of the mulberry trees, then act promptly, for then Jehovah shall go out before you to strike the camp of the Philistines. And David did so, as Jehovah commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer.